Welcome to Betting Weekly WTA, the women's tennis betting podcast, brought to you in association with Bet Rivers. I'm Rory Jiwani. With me is Nigel Seeley. We have no fewer than 3 WTA 250 tournaments this week, coming to you from Jiujiang in China. That's the Jiangxi Open. We've got Hong Kong and Chennai in India. Before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe to us on YouTube and your favourite podcast provider. And follow us on social media. The handle is @BecauseWeWin. And if you like what you hear on our show, sign up for the newsletter. Get exclusive tips and the free Insider magazine. Sign up for free at www.bettingweeklystudios.com. Nigel, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Elena Rybakina didn't do us many favours, pulling out in Tokyo, having booked her place in the WTA finals. 3 tournaments to get stuck into today. Let's be diplomatic. The quality's a bit lacking. 3 250s right at the end of the season. But I suppose a winner is a winner, so let's get stuck into this.
Let's hope we can leave the best till last. That's what we're hoping. But certainly not. This is not the best quality of opposition or players in this tournament. It's a chance for tennis bettors to see some players, or young players who we've never really heard of much about, see an opportunity to see what they're about on the big stage. Obviously, we're a week away from the Tour End Championship, so those places are all up for all certain, so nobody knows that. But there are places in the top 32 in the world, and I think that is a good point. I've mentioned that quite a lot on these shows, and you see Anne now looking like she's going to win the final in Guangzhou, which will take her up to 33 in the world rankings. So that gives her a great chance, if she does well this week as well, to be seeded for the Australian Open. So our mindset has got to be looking at other sort of areas rather than the top end of the market. But you are being very polite when you say they're not the greatest credible. They're absolute crap, really, to be fair. two of them are awful. Some of the worst tournaments that we've covered in these shows. But nothing better than waking up on a Sunday morning and going through the draw in Chennai when the world number 70 is the number 1 seed, trying to find some angles. And the best bet you can find involves the world number 777. So that's what it's worth. That's the level we're at this week.
Yeah, that joy of Chennai is to come a bit later on. We'll get cracking with Jiujiang, the Jiangxi Open there. The top seed is Anne Lee. As you say, she's up in the Guangzhou final against Lulu Sun as we speak, and on course to win that title. Now, Jiujiang, among the slowest hard courts on the tour last season, service hold percentage of just 61.3. Victoria Golubic is the defending champion. Cool conditions all week, around 18 Celsius, so that's mid-60s Fahrenheit, although Thursday might be a washout. Golubic beat Rebecca Sramkova in last year's final. The year before that, Katerina Siniakova defeated fellow Czech Marie Bauskova. Then you have to go back to before COVID to 2019. Elena Rybakina made the final, but she was stunned by Sweden's Rebecca Peterson, who we haven't seen much of before or since. Nigel, any pointers for this tournament?
Well, I think you're right there with the conditions. It's very, very slow as far as these kind of hard court are. So you're looking at players who can handle the slower conditions. It's going to be warm and sticky and humid, as we'd expected all the way through the tournament. Obviously, the conditions there are going to be hot. Looking at the trends here, the last 2 players who've won this tournament have both been unseeded, which is no surprise given there's hardly any difference between the seeded players and the unseeded players really in the world rankings. You know, they're all the number 1 seed has just moved up to 33 in the world, and the number 8 seed is around about 75, 80 in the world. So there's not really much in the difference between the seeded players and the unseeded players. So the unseeded players have won the last 2 years. We've only ever had 2 number 1 seeds, and back in 2015 and 2014. So number 1 seeds do not do particularly well here. And Anne Lee is the number 1 seed here, and you know, to win a tournament, win it back to back at this level is going to be very, very difficult for her. And she starts the favourites, so there is a reasoning to oppose the favourite. With regards to the draw, not really much advantage on the top or the bottom half of the draw, but those are your trends. Unseeded players have a good recent winning record here. 2 unseeded players, let's say, in the last 2 years. And in the early days of the tournament, it was the number 1 seed, but it's a big leveler with the calibre of player we have in this tournament.
It certainly is. If the quarterfinals do go according to the seedings, Anne Lee, as we mentioned, top seed, will face Anastasia Zakharova. Alicia Parks, a player who certainly won't be suited by these conditions, she'll be up against Anna Bondar. Camila Osorio will face Polina Kudermetova. And in the bottom quarter, defending champion Victoria Golubic will meet Yulia Putintseva. Let's have a look at the betting. And you can see Lee is a clear favourite at $3. Yuan, Camila Osorio and Elisabetta Cocciaretto at $9. Victoria Golubic, $11. Yulia Putintseva, $12s, along with Kaya Yuvan, Anna Blinkova and Anastasia Zakharova and Eala Seidel, all 14s. Anna Bondar, Yulia Starodubtseva, 18s. Lin Zhu, $25. $28 bar those. Yeah. A tricky tournament. I mean, yeah, I agree with you, not too much. I thought the bottom half did look stronger, actually, in this one. Because you've got the likes of, I mean, obviously, Anne Lee's in the top half. You've got Yuan, Osorio, and Cocciaretto. Osorio and Cocciaretto actually meet in round one. So you're losing one of the big, one of the market leaders in round one. Golubic is in the bottom half. Putintseva's in the bottom half. So I thought the top half was the way to go, and I have got a bet. But Nigel, what were you thinking for this one?
Well, I think it's a difficult draw. I like to fade the favourite. I think Anne Lee is gonna, she's gonna make a good chance to be seeing the Australian Open. She probably only has to win 1 or 2 matches here, and then she will be guaranteed to be in the top 32 at the start of the next year. And I think that is her goal. If she wins the tournament, she's 4-1 up in the final set with a set and a break up in the final at the moment in Guangzhou. So I don't see there's any motivation for her to go on and win this. So I think the favourite might be a fade for me. I like the idea of her just getting through to the steps, quarterfinals, round 2, having enough points, 32 places, done, start next year well, and be seeded for the Australian Open, job done for her. So I think you've got to look for players who are a little bit more hungrier, players who have got who have played well and have got an opportunity to go deep in a 250 and win a tournament. So there's a lot of incentives for younger players. Osorio and Cocciaretto is an interesting match. We're going to come on to that one with one of the matches we're going to preview. Whoever wins that's going to be a big market mover, and they're going to stake their claim there. But I am going to go for someone at a fairly decent price. I'm going to go for someone in the bottom half of the draw, actually. So it's quite interesting. We're going to go for the top half and the bottom half of the draw. And that player I'm going to go for is Eala Seidel at 14-1. I like what I see from her. She's played at a lot higher level than these players, a lot of these players in this tournament. She's 20 years of age. She's moving up the rankings very quickly. She's just inside the top 100. Her highest ever ranking is 85, so she's not far off where she is. She's on the back of pretty good Far East tournaments. I mean, her performance in Seoul, she reached the quarterfinals there. She had some big wins over Zakharova, Hajed Maya. She beat in a big match. She got beat by Alexandrova. No, in the quarterfinals. No shame in that. Alexandrova is one of the most improved players on the women's tour this season, a top 10 player. Then she goes to Beijing. She comes through qualification with another couple of decent wins against Arango. Good win there. She beat Magdalena Freck. And then she got beat by Martha Kostyuk. Again, no shame in that. And then in Guangzhou, she reached the quarterfinals again. She beat Putintseva. Easy, 6-3, 6-2. She beat Zhang Zheng, 6-2, 6-2 as well. And I just got a feeling that she's played some decent players. She got to the last 16 of the Cincinnati 1000 as well. She beat Navarro, Kudermetova, Kessler. These are big wins for a girl that has come from nowhere at the start of the season. She was playing ITF Bundesliga matches, and all of a sudden she had that good run at Cincinnati. She got into the main draws of the tournaments here over in the Far East, and she took advantage of that. And I think she looks like a kind of player at the end of the season who is peaking right at the right time. I think next year she's going to break into the top 50. I think she's that good. She's managed to hold her own against some of the better players in the world. Big wins. And on this draw, favourable draw, she's got a fairly comfortable first round match according to the betting. But I think that might be a little bit more of a struggle. She'll then have to play Kudermetova, Polina Kudermetova, who started the season really well but has slowed down massively. But I think she's got the beating of her. Cocciaretto or Osorio awaits her, but I don't think that'll phase her. I think that the company she's been keeping in recent weeks is good company. And I think she's in form. Two quarterfinals in two much stronger events in the last three events, and that running 1,000 to the last 16 will give her huge confidence. And all of that form has come on hardcore in similar kind of conditions to here, and all of that form has been since August. So she's peaking right at the right time. She's an informed player, and I'm going to have 1 point each way on her at 14-1 with Bet Rivers.
Yeah, I mean, you make a very good case for her. So when I looked at the bottom half, the two names that stood out for me were Osorio and Golubic. I've mentioned about Golubic being good at this time of the year. She's the defending champion. Osorio's played well in quicker conditions. These slower conditions should suit her. But I have been drawn to the top half, and I think there's a big price in the top half, and that's Lin Zhu, the Chinese. She's $25. She's played well recently. She had a good run. I want to say Ningbo. It was Ningbo. She beat Emma Raducanu. And then she had another decent win. She did go out to Deanna Schneider. I'll have to look at who her second win was against, but it was against a good player. So she beat Raducanu, then she beat someone else, then fell to Schneider. She's been as high as 31 in the world in the past. She has had injuries. And that's why she's currently outside the top 150. But I think she's shown enough recently to suggest, this sort of tournament is within her reach. And she's got, what looks a very easy draw. So you're right, she beat Raducanu, she beat Mira Andreeva in Ningbo, and then she fell to Deanna Schneider. So that's as good of form as anyone, I'd say, in this field, certainly recent form. And her draw doesn't look too bad. Alicia Parks in round one on this speed of court. I'd really fancy Zhu to win that. Kaya Yuvan or Claire Liu in round two could be tricky. But after that, doesn't look too bad. Obviously, Anne Lee is the standout in the top half. Zakharova could be tricky as well. But I think if Lin Zhu is playing, if she can repeat that form from Ningbo, beating Raducanu and Andreeva, I think she's got every chance here, and I think $25 she's overpriced. So I'm going to have a point each way as well on Lin Zhu. I just think she's overpriced, and I think she has a favourable draw. So I'm going to go for her. So that's Jiujiang. We'll move on, shall we? Shall we move on to some matches in Jiujiang? I think
there's only one. It's just one match. It's that match. I think it's the most interesting match of the first round, actually.
And the bookies think it as well.
Yeah, I think it's quite interesting. I mean, I know it's going to be slow, and I know it's going to be, and I think it'll suit both. The conditions will suit both players. But I watched Cocciaretto a lot last week over in Guangzhou, and she battled. She was unbelievably battling, and she played really, really well, actually. She beat Parry in a long match. She beat Wang in a long match. And we've got a bit of a form guide here, and I thought the form guide might be able to help us because Lee beat both of them on her way to, looks like she's going to win the title over in Guangzhou. Anne Lee beat both of these players. But she beat Osorio in the round of 16, and she beat her by a 7-5, 6-2, which was a 5-game margin. And she beat Cocciaretto in the quarterfinals by a 5-game margin as well, 6-3, 6-4. So there's no real... So the odds there, minus 110 on the two of them, are absolutely, to the stats. But I thought Cocciaretto played really well. I was really impressed with her. She never gave up in any of the matches. She battled back from positions where she looked like she was going to lose, and she come back and won. A lot of players at this time of year would have given up, and I thought Cocciaretto was a real takeout from last week in the way of her attitude, in the way that she never said die. And if she plays like that against Osorio, I know it's going to be a tough, grinding battle in slow conditions as we expect, but I thought the Italian was worth taking at minus 110. I'd make her a bit more of a favourite than that, probably minus 125 even money. Osorio, she needs it. This is slow, but Osorio like proper American play slow. Cocciaretto has obviously proven that she can on all surfaces. Big win against Jessica Pegula at Wimbledon earlier in the year, and I just thought the way she played last week, she's not giving up on the season where a lot of others are. So small play, Cocciaretto 1 point at minus 110 on the money line.
Okay, so that's Nigel's first match play, official play of the show. We'll move on to Hong Kong, which is probably the best tournament of the three. And we've got Belinda Bencic, the top seed, who won the Tokyo title this morning. So I guess there has to be a slight question mark over her participation, but we'll get onto the odds in a bit. Conditions played very quick last year. Service hold percentage is 70.3, which is as fast as most grass courts. Weather-wise, quite warm, high 20s Celsius. So that's 80s Fahrenheit. Some rain forecast, going to be reasonably humid and quite windy for the first few days. So that could make serving a bit difficult. Deanna Schneider beat Katie Boulter very convincingly in last year's final. In 2023, Leylah Fernandez defeated Katerina Siniakova in the final. Before that, the last tournament was in 2018 when Diana Yastremska beat Qiang Wang. Nigel, not sure. There's many trends to pick out here in Hong Kong?
Well, last year was the first time that number one seed had won it since 2014. Lisicki won it in 2014, a name from the past there. Wow. Schneider won it, beat Boulter. It was the first time the number one seed and number two seed met in the final. Prior to that, two unseeded players in the final. Not really many trends to go by, really, but I just think Belinda Bencic is a ridiculously short price here at plus 180. I think she's another fade. I mean, she's just won the tournament. She's come in here. You know, I think it's one to take on. That's my strategy.
Yeah, if the quarterfinals go according to the seedings, Bencic will play Emiliana Arango. I'd be surprised if the Colombian gets that far in these conditions. Sofia Kenin will face Maya Joint. Going to Q3, Anna Kalinskaya against Victoria Mboko. And at the bottom, Sorana Castilla will play second seed and former champion Leylah Fernandez. We can look at those odds now, and Bencic plus 180, I agree, looks hellish short.
I can't believe Leylah Fernandez's price either, really.
Yeah,
I mean, this is a real top. Well, it's the best tournament. There's a lot of players in who could win this tournament. Those two, like 180 and plus 360, they look fades at those odds completely.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Maya Joint, $6. Sorana Castilla and Sofia Kenin, both plus 11.50. Anna Kalinskaya, $13, same price as Victoria Mboko. Evelise, $15. Shui Zhang, Suzanne Lamons, $20. Katie Boulter, last year's runner-up, she's $25 alongside Alexandra Eala, and it's $28 bar those. What do you reckon, Nigel?
Well, I mean, I just think Bencic's a ridiculously short price at plus 180. Played an awful lot of tennis. Leylah Fernandez at plus 360, an awful lot of tennis as well. I think those two are just crazy. I mean, great. You know, there's a lot of players in this draw a lot better priced than them. I mean, they could go on and win it, but, you know, only one time ever. Number one seed and number two seed have got to the finals tournament, but I think they are massive fades at the prices. Not saying they can't win, but I'd be double the price Bencic and double the price Fernandez. Couple of key players who are looking to have good runs this week to get into that top 32, which I think is important. Maya Joint, she's currently number 32 in the world. Good run here, guarantees 32. Maybe not necessarily want to win it again, but a good run to the quarterfinals, semi-finals. She'll be guaranteed top 32. Kalinskaya, she's currently ranked 34 in the world, so she's going to want a good run here as well. Win a couple of matches, maybe get her ranking points up again. Put those two into the box seat for seedings for the Australian Open. Very important. But I'm looking at this. There's a couple of players I like at some prices, but they're just two of the first one I was drawn to, but I'm not going to bet her, is Sophie Kenin. I mean, I bet her the other week in Ningbo as an underdog against Makani Kessler. She lost 6-1, 6-love. She was absolutely awful, and it made me look an absolute fool. Next week, she goes to Tokyo. She wins the first set 6-love against Alexandrova and wins as a -4. Alexandrova was a -$5 favourite. She ran Bencic extremely close in the semi-finals in Tokyo, and she's like the price she is compared to the price of what you're going to get for Bencic. Conditions may be a little bit too quick for her, which is a bit of a worry, but I think she could beat Bencic. She's got a winning record against a 2-1. And if they met in the semi-finals, Bencic could be spent, and she was very close to beating her last week. So her energy levels could be a little bit low. So Kenin was on my radar for the top half, but I bet her 2 weeks ago at 40-1. and I'm going to go with her again. I've got to go for Victoria Mbuko at 13-1 to win this tournament. This girl was 25-1 to win the US Open. Sorana Kirsty is plus 1150 to win this. Because Sorana Kirsty was 2,000-1 to win the US Open. How can she be now at a shorter price than Mboko? How can Maya Joint be 6-1 and Mboko be 13-1? I know she's had injury problems and she hasn't done anything since she won the tournament in Montreal. Got beat by Krejcikova, obviously, in the first round, and then terrible performances since then. But last week, she looked back to her best. I mean, she blew Andreescu away 6-3, 6-3. She beat Lees 6-1, 6-1. And look at the price difference between the two of them on the outright market. I mean, there's only like a point between her. She absolutely annihilated her. And then she played Rybakina, and she was in the quarterfinals, and she pushed Rybakina close 6-3, 7-6, which was a real big win for her. This is a girl everyone was going to be number one in the world. She's going to win majors. She's a thousand winner, you know, a WTA 1000 winner this season. Only a few months ago, and you can get her at 13-1 to win this tournament. Now, what if she played Leylah Fernandez in the semi-finals, right? I think she'd probably be a marginal. I think it'd be a pick and match, 50-50 goal. How can she be plus 360 and the other one be $13? If she played Bencic in the final, I don't think there's much in that. Bencic could be absolutely gone physically. She played an awful lot of tennis, Bencic, long matches. And Buku's fresh. If she's fit, she's going to take some stopping here. The conditions will suit her. Her power hitting could be brilliant in these conditions. Interesting match in the second round as she wins. She plays Eala, which is interesting, or Katie Boulter. But we'll come on to that match in a minute. And then probably Kalinskaya in the quarterfinals, which Kalinskaya might think that's enough for me. I've get to the quarterfinals. I've got my top 32. But I just think at the prices and Buku at 13. I mean, what price would she have been if this tournament was the tournament of the week of the US Open? I think she'd be favourite for the tournament. And now she's 13 after probably what was her best performance at a tournament, or best tournament since winning the Canada in the last tournament, where she blitzed two players and pushed the informed player in the world really close. So Mbuku at 13, 1 point each way.
Yeah, can we double Mbuku? I think the same. I thought, as you said, she gave Rybakina a real scare. She played really well. She looks like she's back, and Bencic and Fernandez are too short. Maya Joint's too short as well at $6.
I think she's a player that she's like the one that everyone, you know, if you speak to a tennis podcast or someone at the end of the season, they'll say, give me a name of a player who can break through next year. Maya Joint. She's become that kind of like player that everyone expects a breakthrough from. And, you know, when you look at her actual records, she's not as good as we thought. And I think she's had a very, very long year. An awful lot of tennis. And her recent performances haven't been anywhere near of her levels before. But, I just think Mbuku's crazy, Ross.
So we're going to have 2 points each way on Mbuku. Kenin?
No, I'm not going to bet her. But I think she could. She's too inconsistent, Rory. I mean,
she is. I mean, Kalinskaya is another one. I mean, Kalinskaya on her day would have a great chance here, but you just don't know which one's going to turn up. Who's going to turn up?
It'd just be. I wouldn't get too involved with that one, though.
Yeah. Okay, one match to look at. And you mentioned it, Alexandra Eala against Katie Boulter. Eala plus 110, Boulter minus 137. Boulter flattered to deceive, didn't she? I mean, and she played quite well. She won a match. I can't remember who it was against now, but she looked quite good. She beat someone I'd picked to win the tournament, if memory serves. But then she was well beaten last week. Eala's not been in great form either, though. So what's your thinking here?
Well, I just think it's an interesting match. I'm not going to have an official play on it, but I do think Eala could push her close. I think Katie Boulter's had a pretty bad year. Her record on hard courts this season has been really poor. Only 9 wins from 22 matches, which isn't great at all. Alia hasn't played well, but she ran into the Liu in the first round here. The winner of the tournament in Guangzhou in round 1, and she pushed her close. She went to 3 sets in that match. She won the first set 6-2. So she ran into Valentinova in Osaka.
Oh, hang on. She played Liu, not Lee.
Yeah, Liu, sorry. Yeah, she played Liu. Yeah, she played Liu. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, she
but
lost. She got to the semis. Yeah,
I can't read my writing. She got to the semis, and obviously, but that was she ran into a good opponent there, and then she ran into Valentinova in Osaka as well. Who's a very, very talented young player. So that's not a bad performance. She got Golubic in the quarterfinals at Jiu, I think it was. That's another decent opponent. So she hasn't been winning, but she hasn't been losing to players that you're shocked by the results. Whereas Katie Boulter has been losing to players that you would expect her to win. And I think Katie Boulter looks done for the year by her body language. I think she's been a long year for her and her partner Alex de Minaur. And I think that both of them, Alex de Minaur in particular, has been very popular. That he wants to rest. He needs to get the end of the season. And I think what's been a very disappointing season for Katie Boulter, I think she needs to regroup and come back next year. So I was tempted by Eala at plus 110. And I think if the market drifts a little bit more in her favour and she gets bigger, I will bet her. But I'm not going to have an official play on it, but I thought that was an interesting play on Eala here because the market just looks at those results and thinks they're bad results. But they're not really. She's played some players that have been higher rankings than her. Valentinova is a very, very talented youngster as well. So yeah, I'll be looking to get with Eala here rather than Katie Boulter.
Yeah, Boulter beat Noskova in Osaka. The 1 week I had to back Noskova, clearly. She reached the finals the weeks either side. But yeah, Boulter was thrashed by Evelise in Tokyo. Which, yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you. I think she could be done.
I'll stick her in. We'll have a point on her. We'll have a point.
Eala? Why not? I think she's got a chance here.
So it's the end of the season. It's basically it's the last tournament of the year, so we might as well go for it, mightn't we?
Yeah, let's have a go. So Eala plus 110 to beat Katie Boulter. Now, the one you've all been waiting for.
Less the last.
Chennai in India. First tournament. And you might think 3 250s in the last week of the season is a bit of overkill. But here we go. First tournament's no fault to go on. There was an ATP Challenger earlier this year. And conditions didn't look especially quick. Didn't look slow. Looked like a fairly standard hard court. It's going to be grueling, this tournament, though. Looks like we could have washout on Monday and Tuesday. Very heavy rain forecast. And then after that, hot and humid, low 30s Celsius, high humidity. So that's 90 Fahrenheit. It's going to be seriously grueling stuff at the end of the year. Quarterfinals. Let's run through what they would be if the seeds get through. Top seed is Zeynep Solmez from Turkey. She'll play Lucia Bronzetti. Janice Chen against Lulu Sun, who's just been in the final in Guangzhou. Bottom half, Kimberly Burrell up against Donna Vekic, who we haven't seen since Wuhan. And then we've got Leolia Jean-Jean against second seed Francesca Jones. Let's get the odds up here. And Chen, plus 250 favourite. Donna Vekic, plus 370. Lulu Sun, $5. Francesca Jones, plus 550. Leolia Jean-Jean, $16 along with Zeynep Solmez. Deanne Parry, $18. Lucia Bronzetti, $20. Joanna Garland, $22. $33 bar those. Nigel, where do we start here? I thought, draw-wise, did I have any views on the draw particularly? No, not really. I think the bottom half is a bit weaker.
Yeah, the bottom half's weaker.
It's not a good tournament though, is it?
Well, no, it's not a good tournament. I mean, the tournament favourite Jen is a worthy tournament favourite. Let's get nothing. This is a girl that has had a brilliant season. She won the tournament in Jinan. She beat Bondar's son, who's in this tournament here, was third favourite, I think she is. She got to the final of the tournament in Sao Paulo. She beat Jones, who's in this tournament. She beat Eala Jean-Jean, who's in this tournament as well. So she's beaten a lot of players in there, and she's a worthy favourite. Don't get me wrong; she's a very talented player, and I think the Indonesian is a worthy favourite this tournament. But is she that value at that price? I don't think she's really valued at that price at all. Donna Vekic at the price is. I couldn't bet Donna Vekic with anyone's money. Not a plus 370. We've only had one tournament here before in 2022. Linda Favertova won it, and 40-1 Linda Favertova. If she can show any kind of form. From then, or any kind of form that we was expecting from her, she could turn out to be a big price here. Lulu Sun. Lulu Sun is in the final now, isn't she, in Guangzhou? And she has to travel from there to Chennai, which I think is a 14-hour connecting flight. So 5-1 to go in at 250 in Chennai in hot conditions, humid. That wouldn't be a bet for me. Francesca Jones at 550. Would I bet her? No. Sommes, the number 1 seed. She's 69 in the world, and she's the number 1 seed. So really, I've got to go down to like lower levels, and I've got in the bottom half of the draw, and I've gone just purely on the draw. I think she's got a very, very favourite draw. I think Q3 is very weak. I've gone for Kimberly Birrell at 33-1. You've gone for her as well, Rory?
No, I've gone for who she's playing in round 1. Funnily.
Oh right, okay. Well, I just think that's right. Well, we're gonna. Well, that's good then. So we got a headset in round 1. So Kimberly Birrell or whoever, Pohankova, who we opposed last week, didn't we?
Indeed,
in a match. But I just thought Kimberly Birrell again. She's done nothing. I mean, but she's played a good level of tennis. She hasn't really won hardly any matches, but she's been beaten again by some decent opponents. Jessica Pegula beat her in Cincinnati in round 2. And Booker beat her in Montreal, went on to win the tournament. Tokyo last week, she got beat by Katie Boulter. These are the kind of... Volinets beat her on Osaka. These are the kind of players that you would expect her to get beat by. There's Anisimova beat her in the first round of the US Open. So again, she looks at first round losses. But she's an heavy dog in those matches. Whoever wins that match has got a great chance to go through to the semi-finals because it's made up of wild cards, Indian wild cards. I think there's 3 Indian wildcards in that section who aren't in the top 1,000 in the world. So you've got a great chance there. You've got 2 qualifiers in that section. So they could be ranked even lower. And we've got Donna Vekic, who hasn't played for ages and is not in any form whatsoever. So Q3 is well winnable. And probably your logic is why you're going for Pohankova as well. But I'm going to go for Kimberly Birrell. I think whoever wins that match has a great chance to get to the semi-finals. And then in the semi-finals, I don't think you'd be too worried about Francesca Jones or Jean-Jane. I wouldn't be too worried about that. But I think you've got a good chance of getting a shot player into that semi-finals from that section.
Yeah, I same logic, different player. Pohankova, yes, we opposed her successfully last week. Excuse me. But the issue there was, she's got a terrible record against left-handers. There aren't any, to my eyes, there aren't any good left-handers in this bottom half of the draw. I'm not even sure if there are any. I don't know about the Indian wildcards, but even if they are left-handed, they shouldn't be of the level to trouble Pohankova. Birrell, if this match had been 3 months ago, Birrell would have been a heavy, heavy favourite, and I'd have backed Birrell. But her form has tailed off recently. As you say, she has had some tough draws. Pohankova, very much a player on the up. And the standard of this tournament, this isn't really a 250. This is more like a challenger or an ITF 100K. She reached a challenger final earlier this month in Turkey, losing in the final to Kaya Yuvan. Look, if Vekic is on her game, that would be tricky in the quarterfinals, but I'm inclined she's just here for the paycheck. I think she's probably got a nice appearance money to come to Chennai. You look at the names on the list, she's the standout name in terms of star appeal and what she's done in the game. I don't think she's going to have great motivation this week. It's a very weak tournament, as we said. So Birrell's $33, Pohankova's the same price. Apart from last week, her form has been very good in the last couple of months. And I think she's got a chance. But I think whoever wins that match, as you say, has a great chance of going far. I couldn't have Francesca Jones. She's a clay court player. All her best form is on clay. She was priced up. It was similar to a tournament earlier this year when she was priced up short on a hard court, and I couldn't believe it. And I can't believe she's priced plus 550 for this one. The third quarter is so weak. We'll have. I'll go half a point each way.
Yeah, I'll go half a point each way.
Yeah, I think we're pretty well covered there. And if I was to have a match bet, it would be Deanne Parry against Francesca Jones. Somehow Parry is an underdog there, despite being a far superior hardcourt player. But you've got a couple of matches to look at as well, Nigel.
Well, they're just these are the most like sort of, no one will hardly know any of these players, but these are like the pick 'em kind of matches, and I just put them in fully just as a talking point, really. Obviously, I mean, we've got that match there, and let me get my sheet in front of me, which is the Hibino Pohankova match. Mia Pohankova is the Wimbledon champion, the junior Wimbledon champion. She's only 17 years of age, Slovakian. So I think this is her first main tour event. And she's playing an opponent in Hibino who's been around, seen it, done it. Player that is a quality player. I mean, she's coming towards the end of her career, but it's 30 years of age. Which, I always laugh when we say end of the career at 30 years of age, but she's a proven player. And this is a real test for the young girl. And I just thought that was a little bit of a disrespectful price for Hibino at -110. I know we can't really look at world rankings, but currently the junior Wimbledon champion is ranked just inside the top 700. And Hibino is a player that's been around the top 100 for years and years and years and years. So she's been as high as 56 in the world rankings. So I thought that was an interesting one there. Pohankova could be someone, she could be an absolute superstar, but there's a lot of pressure on her. The junior Wimbledon champion against an opponent that, if she's motivated, I think -110 is a very, very interesting price for me. So I'm going to have 1 point on Hibino to beat Pohankova, the Wimbledon champion. I think that, I think that's a price that is a bit disrespectful for the Japanese player. Surprising though, she's not playing in Japan this week, in Tokyo or over there, because that's where she's had most of her matches. I'm surprised she decided to come to Chennai. If she comes to Chennai, she might fancy it for some reason. So I'm going to go for Hibino in that one. The second one, obviously, is a get match that no one would have ever had any interest of whatsoever. But I thought this was quite interesting. It's two players who are just inside the top 100. Polina Iatcenko, Russian girl, and she's currently moving up the world ranking. She's in her highest ever world ranking position against another Russian, Alina Charaeva. I think that's how you pronounce the two of them. They've met once before on the Challenger Series, one win apiece. But Iatcenko, sorry, let's get this right. Iatcenko won 6-2, 6-3. She is playing some good tennis, Iatcenko, at the moment. She got to the final of and won the tournament in one of the Challenger events that she's played in. But Charaeva hasn't been doing very well. I know she played in Tokyo, where she got beat by Christiane in round one. She got beat by Valentova in Osaka. But looking at Iatcenko, she got beat by Jiwani 2-1, 2-love in round 16. I'm struggling here because I don't really know much about the two players. But the one thing I would say is that Iatcenko this season has won 36 matches out of 48 on hard courts. And Charaeva has all her form has been on clay. She's won 26 matches from 11 on clay and only a 50-50 record on hard courts, 7 wins from 7. So I think the conditions, which I think will probably be on the quick side, will suit Iatcenko here. So I think I'll be lying if I'm telling you I know loads about this player. I know nothing. If the two of them walked past me in the street, I wouldn't even have a clue who they were. But I just think that this price has been built a little bit on the season form, and Charaeva, just from her statistics, has been winning more matches on clay, and Iatcenko is much the better player on a hard court. So Iatcenko would be another small wager for me at -110. I could get it completely and utterly wrong. I've got no idea about the two players, but I'm holding my hands up now. This is how we've sunk. We started off this season talking about Goff. We talked about obviously Sabalenka, and now we ending our first official play of the year with two Russian girls in just inside the 200 and a 250. We don't even know their names. We don't know anything about it. But Polina Iatcenko. I'm not saying things are desperate on the WTA show, but that's how it's come. That's how it's got to.
That's where we've fallen to. You got one more match there. Lanlana Tararudee, the tie against Maria Timofeeva. I've seen a bit of I think early in the season I saw a bit of Tararudee. I was quite impressed, but I think her form's fallen away somewhat since then.
Only reason I'll put this one in as well is there's been a bit of a market move for Timofeeva since this market come up. And the only reason I did it is because the two of them played on a hard court already this year, and that was in July. And in that match, Tararudee actually was the favourite. She was -150 to win that match. It was in Portugal, in quick conditions, probably similar kind of conditions we're going to play here today. And Timofeeva won 6-2, 6-2. She absolutely blitzed her. So the market has adjusted slightly, but the early money has come for Timofeeva. And I respect the money in matches like this. These are like, if you see market moves in matches around these kind of players, I think you've got to respect it. I'm not going to have an official play because I've probably missed the boat. They opened up -110 each. But Timofeeva has been bet here, and she has beaten this opponent only a few months ago, 4 or 5 months ago, very, very comfortably on a hard court in very quick conditions. So that would be my my way of thinking. That's the only reason I put it in, because I looked at all the market moves, and this one was quite a big market move since the prices went up.
So there you go. That's Chennai, the highlight of the season. Yeah. So there we have it. 3 250 tournaments looked at. Got outright bets in all of them. Should we run through them quickly?
Rory, now I've got to go back to my sheets.
Oh dear, yeah, but we probably shouldn't we?
Yeah.
Jiujiang was the first one. I liked Linju, a point each way.
I've gone for Elisabetta.
You did. You went Elisabetta at 14
to 1.
Yeah, Linju at 25s. Then Jiujiang.
We got a match bet on that. We've also gone for Cocciaretto to beat Osorio.
Oh yes, yeah, Cocciaretto to beat Osorio. Then it was Hong Kong. We both like Victorian Buku.
Yep.
2 points each way at $13. That was our only bet, wasn't it?
No, we talked ourselves into betting Eala to beat Katie Boulter at +110 as well.
There we are. So that was the match bet. And then Chennai, we've got 2 players meeting in the first round. You've gone half point each way on Kimberly Burrell. I've gone half a point each way on Nicola Bartunkova. And then match bets wise, all yours.
2 players we know nothing about. We have no idea who they are, but we just like this. Hibino, great Brazilian footballer, but I'm betting at -110 to beat Pohankova, the junior Wimbledon champion. I think the market's been very disrespectful for the Japanese player who was ranked 56 in the world, as high as 56 in the world. And 2 Russian girls, I'm going to go for Iatcenko at -110 to beat Charaeva at -110. It's a pick-up match, but Iatcenko beat her already this year on a fast hard court easily. And Charaeva's, all her form is on clay, not on hard courts. I sound like I know what I'm talking about in those matches. I really sound like I do. But I promise you, I know nothing about those players. Just broken down the analysis, looked at the records, find out the score, and hopefully we get it right.
There you go. I think that's sound logic. You know, if she's beaten her on a hard court, there's no reason why.
And
she
clay,
do
all
so
her
again.
records on clay.
Exactly. So that's the WTA Betting Weekly WTA for this week. Nigel, you're chatting to Sean, or you've already
done it last night. It's live. It's live now.
Okay.
I got to get up early today, so I'm going to go Arsenal Crystal Palace. I've got to got to get a train. Going to have to go off to the Emirates.
Should be a good game. Arsenal. God, they could go. What are they? They're already 2 points clear, aren't they? Because Liverpool got beat again. So looking good for the Gunners at the moment. And we've got more. Another big week of football coming up, do we? There's no Champions League this week, is there?
Every week's a big week of football. Betting Weekly Live all the way through, covering all the football every day, Monday through to Friday. Betting Weekly Live stateside as well. And also Betting Weekly Tennis Live, which will be on next week, Monday through to Wednesday.
There we go. Thank you for your company as always, Nigel.
No problem,
Thank you for tuning in, bearing with us. 3 250s. Hopefully we can get a winner and end the season on a high. I say end the season. We've still got the WTA finals to come next week. I think they start on Saturday, so that show will probably be on Friday. So make sure you join us for that. But from myself and Nigel Seeley, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again soon on Betting Weekly WTA.